Good morning. Thank you for tuning into Virtual Story Time with the National Railroad Museum. I'm your host, Engineer Alyssa. If you're watching this live on Facebook, please comment and let us know that you're here and share it with your friends. We also invite you to like our page on Facebook and to follow us so that you can stay up with all of the cool things that are happening at the museum. The National Railroad Museum is a nonprofit organization supported by private and public donations and by our members. For more information about becoming a member or supporting the museum, please visit our website, nationalrrmuseum.org. Our book today is I Drive a Freight Train. So we're going to learn how to drive a freight train and what kind of things go into driving a train or operating a train. And especially for freight trains, I know that we went through in my past stories a bunch about freight trains and what they haul and what kind of cars they do. We're just going to learn a little bit about other things like wheels and horns and kind of comparing a train to a car a little bit. And then, one more thing I like to add about this book. You see up in the cab, and then it's also on the front cover. This, right here. This woman right here, her name is Marcia in the story. We actually have a volunteer. Her name is Marcia, and she engineers our 106 locomotive. So I think that's kind of cool how Marcia in our story, and we have a Marcia that helps out so much at the museum. I just love seeing her and hanging out with her when she comes in to volunteer. So I think that's kind of cool. So let's dive into our book, I Drive a Freight Train. So here's our first little page. Train going through a tunnel. So, hi, my name is Marcia, and I'm an engineer. I drive a freight train. The trains run on tracks, and tracks are made of metal rails and support pieces that lie on a bed of rock. So that's Marcia and her train. There are 2 seats inside. One seat is for me, and the other is for my conductor, Lou. The conductor is in charge of the whole train. Before each trip, the conductors walk around the trains to make sure everything is in good condition. They also make sure that the cars are loaded with the correct freight. So there's our conductor. He's in charge of the train. And then Marcia, our engineer. So she's getting ready to take off. First, I move the throttle, and the locomotive slowly backs up. It hooks up with the other cars. I move the throttle again, and the train pulls forward. Unlike rubber wheels on a car or a truck, train wheels are made of metal. A wide piece of metal on the side of each wheel helps the train stay on the track. So I know that we talked a little bit yesterday about couplers, and that's what we're doing here is coupling the cars together so we can take our train trip. I push a lever to test the freight train's brakes. Whoosh! It sounds like air being let out of a balloon. This sound means the brakes are working, and then I test the horn. Engineers sound the horn to let people know that the train is nearing a street crossing. My freight train carries many different kinds of things. I haul coal, cars and trucks, oil, or food. Today, many of the train cars are filled with light bulbs. Meat, lettuce, and ice cream and other freight that must be kept cold are hauled in refrigerator cars. Bulky objects are hauled in cars with no sides or tops. These cars are called flat cars. I know if a refrigerator car was hauling ice cream, I would want peanut butter and chocolate ice cream. That's my favorite type of ice cream. Colored lights on the sides of the tracks tell me when I can go. These lights are called wayside signals. They flash like stoplights. And engineers control a train's speed with hand levers instead of a gas pedal. So that throttle that she was using before makes the train go. And there they are taking their train trip. We chug along through the countryside. I see fields and rivers and farmhouses. I even roll through mountains. In the United States, freight trains average about 25 miles per hour. So 25 miles an hour isn't too quick. So freight trains go a lot slower than high-speed trains that go over 100 miles an hour. A freight train usually pulls about 100 cars and weighs thousands of tons. Trying to stop it is like trying to stop a running elephant. It cannot stop quickly. I have to start slowly down long before I reach the station. In an emergency, a conductor or engineer can use the train's emergency brake, but even with this brake, a freight train still needs more than 1 mile to stop. So I know that when we talk about the big boy, the Union Pacific big boy at the museum, that takes over a whole mile to completely stop. A freight train's engineers may go on long or short trips. On long trips, they sleep in hotels along the way. They leave their trains parked on extra track at the station. For very long trips, more than one crew may have to drive the train. And once my train is stopped, a crew checks the engine. They refill any fluids that are low. If this is the last stop on my trip, all of the freight is unloaded. Otherwise, I lock the train for the night and start again in the morning. So either she's done with her trip or just a little rest stop. And if we look at here, it's kind of the end of the book. So you can see the two different types of train cars. And then inside the locomotive, you see the cab, the locomotive, and then the tracks. And then it just goes through glossary and a couple of fun facts, and then where to learn some more. So this is our book. I drive a freight train. Like I said, I absolutely love running the locomotive at work. I run our engine 106, and I am soon going to be taught on the new one, 1563, and I cannot wait for that because I absolutely love engineering at the museum. I will be posting a craft down below and also on our webpage, where you can find my past story times, and they're also up on YouTube. If you missed any or want to rewatch any, you are more than welcome to. I hope you guys have a wonderful day today and a wonderful week. It looks pretty sunny outside, so hopefully you can get outside and do something today. I'll be back the rest of the week through Friday at 10 o'clock here. I hope to see you. Bye.